everyone. Welcome to the March 1st, it's hard to believe it's March 1st, meeting of the Rochester Planning Commission. And if you would, please join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. At this point, could we have the clerk call the roll?
Certainly. Chairman McGee.
Here.
Vice Chairman Lord. Expected. Mayor
Here.
Bixton.
Here.
City Council Member and Secretary Bavacqua.
Here.
Commissioner Clark Martin.
Here.
Commissioner Gosson.
Here.
Commissioner Hauser.
Here.
Commissioner King.
Here.
Commissioner Stone.
Here.
Very good. You're brave souls for all being out on this windy March evening in Michigan. Before we begin, I want to point out that this is a virtual meeting of the Rochester Planning Commission. And for those of you who are joining us on TV, there is a phone number displayed at the bottom of the screen. If you call in that number, if you have something to add or something you feel we should know, if you call in that number, Sienna will connect you directly with the commission, and you'll be able to speak to us directly. This process has now worked very well over several months and through several very serious projects. So don't hesitate. If you have something that you think we need to know or you have some input, please use that number and call in. At this point, we'll take number 3, public comment, and I'm going to ask Sienna if you've received any written or electronic communication for us.
Have not.
Okay, thank you very much. Next item, number 4, is approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 1st, 2021. I'd ask the commissioners if you've had an opportunity to review the minutes, and does anyone have any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Who's moved? Mr. Lord and Christian supported. The roll call, please.
Lord.
Yes.
Hauser.
Yes.
Bavacqua.
Yes.
Dixon.
Yes.
Clark Martin.
Yes.
Gosson.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes.
McGee.
Yes. Thank you very much. Item number 5, we have a public hearing scheduled for the consideration of an ordinance amendment to sections 404 and 406 of the Rochester zoning code regarding non-conforming uses. Who is going to handle that? Jeff.
Good evening. I feel honored to be the only substantive matter on the agenda for this evening.
We're pleased.
So before you for public hearing is a proposed ordinance amendment to sections 404 and 406 regarding non-conforming uses. If Planning Commission recalls at the last meeting where this matter was introduced, the purpose of these ordinance amendments is to do really twofold. One is in section 404, when a otherwise non-conforming use is permitted to be substituted for another non-conforming use in a district, that substituted use remains a non-conforming use instead of an approved use. And also the amendment to section 406, likewise, instead of creating the language would be removed. That language is very unclear and leads to an argument that if a substituted use is permitted into a otherwise non-conforming district, that substituted use becomes an acceptable use throughout the district. So I didn't find any value to that section 406 anyway. I don't think it adds anything. I think removing it removes that consideration. So at this point, it is, since it's a zoning ordinance, that's why it's before you. There is a required public hearing. Once the public hearing is completed, the action requested is to move this matter to City Council for their consideration with and then city council will take it up at that point.
Okay, thank you. Do the commissioners have any questions for Mr. Craig? Jeff, in terms of the case we just handled a month or so ago, I think it was 400 Woodward Street. Tell us the result relative to that property, since we all know it so well.
So this body did grant special exception approval, is my recollection on that, which is what 404 is in this case. It was approved under 404, so that property now can be operated as an office building. It was in a residential classification. So it was a learning center, I think, is the category that the planner felt that last fit into, and felt that it was at least as appropriate, or if not more appropriate, this new use than the learning center, although there was some discussion of a history of it at one point being office uses already. So that property did come before Planning Commission under 404 and was granted special exception approval and so that particular situation wouldn't change under these changes. It would continue. The ability to do that remains intact. The only changes that this ordinance has is to instead of that use now being that use is no longer for that property considered a non-conforming use. It's considered a conforming use. So what this ordinance amendment, if that property came in 3 months from now to do the same thing, you would still be able to approve it as an office use, but it would remain a non-conforming use. So they couldn't, they could, seek to add a even lesser non-conforming or a conforming use in the future. But if it was, say, destroyed or the use was abandoned, they couldn't reestablish that as a non-conforming use.
So everyone has a good handle on what we're doing here tonight. So I don't know if this question's for you or Nick or Blaine, but since we're just starting this review of the master plan, is it suggested, or I know it's not required, but is it suggested that we look at this property and perhaps rezone it so that it becomes conforming? I think we heard that it's never been anything but an office building, was actually built as an office building.
Right, Jeff, you want, but there's no reason to have to do that. I mean, we always would like to get the underlying zoning correct, but I don't think we're gonna go through town and rezone every property that's non-conforming.
So you don't see any value in doing that in this exercise? We're just starting.
Not at this point.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for the attorney? Okay, at this point, it is 7:08, and I'm going to open the public hearing on this matter. And I'd ask again, any members of the public who wish to comment on this, please use that telephone number on the screen in front of you and call in. And then I'm also going to ask Sienna if you've received any communications of any sort regarding this advertised public hearing.
There's a caller on the line. The caller with 651, did you have a public comment?
Yes, I did. This is Jane Turner, Parkdale, Rochester. Where was the public hearing notification made? I haven't seen anything in the Post. There's no copy of it online. There's nothing to show that the public has been notified.
I'll take this one. Jane, this was also listed in the Oakland Press.
There's no reference to that in your agenda or anything else. There's nothing to show that any public hearing notification was done.
Again, all our public hearing notices are also listed online.
Where? I've looked. I can't find them.
I believe it is the government tab under news releases or news notices, press releases. It's in
So
that.
it's not in the notify me.
No, at the last city council meeting, you also called in and stated that that's what you would like to have happen. At that
Yes.
point, we had already.
It hasn't. So tell me where on the site I can find public notifications.
If you go to the main page under the community tab, it is a newsletters, press release, and notices option. If you scroll down, it is listed under public notices, which states the date, which is March 1st, the committee, which is the planning commission, and
Wait a
the
minute.
copy
Wait a
of
minute.
the-
Wait a minute. I'm under community,
Mhm.
and where is it?
It is in the first column. It states newsletters, press releases, and notices.
Oh, nice place to put it.
Where is it
Okay.
at in there, Sienna?
I'm sorry, Dennis.
Where is it at in that, I have that
March
tab
1st
open?
planning. I found it. Boy, let's hide it anywhere we can. Because
Sienna, please tell me where it is in here.
It is under the community tab, Dennis, in the first column. If you hover over the community.
Okay, I got it. I
Okay,
got it. Thank you very much. Okay.
you're welcome.
yeah,
And that is our normal procedure for publishing these things?
That is correct. We
right.
use-
How can I get on the list? Like notify me that I am notified of a virtual public hearing.
At the point in time when this actually was listed, you had called in last week at the city council meeting.
Yeah.
Blaine actually took notes and stated that we would do different, I guess, do a different method, but this had already gone out.
Okay. Well, what's going to be done to rectify it?
In the future, I believe Blaine stated that we would send it out through Notify Me going forward.
And when would that be?
It's always 15 days prior to the actual meeting.
So, no, when are you going to institute Notify Me for public hearings?
I'm assuming the next time we actually have a public hearing.
And when is that supposed to be?
Whenever they're scheduled. I'm not.
So there's
100%
nothing
sure.
scheduled currently?
Not for the planning commission, no.
What about the city council?
I would not be able to speak to that. Blaine would probably have to state that.
Is Blaine there?
I am. So starting in March, we'll be sending out any notices in addition to posting them on the website and in the newspapers. We'll be sending them out through the Notify Me. Anybody would need to sign up through the Notify Me for the City Council public notice, the Planning Commission public notice, and I'm not sure if there's other committees that have public notices. Those are the two that are most common. The clerk would,
The ZBA.
DBA might have a public notice. And I'll talk
Okay,
with
I
the clerk.
just totally object to this public hearing or any public hearing that is not listed in a local paper. I haven't had the Oakland Press for at least 10 years, if not longer. So I would assume that any further public hearings from this date forward will be published on your website through public notification.
Well, it is notice on the city's website, and
Yes, buried low.
well, if you go to notices, it's there, but we're also adding the ability so that instead of having to search for it, you would be able to sign up for our Notify Me. In
Okay.
addition, I was just informed by the Post that they'll be extending their publication, so it will be beyond just Thursdays. So that will allow the city and other communities to actually utilize their newspaper for public notices as well. As our preferred is the, I guess the ultra local Post. However, in the past, when there are issues to hit the 15-day state rules, we've used the other newspapers.
Okay. So this will not happen again without your website through Notify Me will have any public hearings Is that correct?
The notify me, you'll have to sign up for the various.
I've signed up for everything that I can. Are you telling me I have to sign up for something else? I mean,
Well-
on notify me, or if it will be through what I've already, I think I've ticked everything on that box.
All right. How about this, Jane? I will tomorrow work with our public relations specialist to log into the back of our website to see what you've signed up. I will check with our clerk to see if there are any other boards, committees, commissions that have the ability to do public notices. And I'll make sure that you're signed up for every board, committee, or commission that will issue public notices.
Okay, thank you. I have no objection to what's actually being discussed except the public notice.
Jane, relative to this current public hearing, do you have anything to add on the
Nope,
proposed ordinance change? Okay. Listen,
I had a
I'm
hard
serious
time
about this.
dialing
I
in
wanna-
again, and you guys are
I
so
want to
fast.
thank you for calling. I want to thank you for calling because
Thank
if you hadn't brought this up, anyone else from the city who's watching this right now and the staff, they wouldn't have learned about this. So your time was well spent, and we're grateful to you for taking that time.
Thank you very much. You have a good evening.
Thank you. You too. Okay, Sienna, any other calls or communications?
We do not have
I think
anything.
Councilman Bavacqua is raising his hand, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, there he is. You were on the right a minute ago, but now you're on the left. Sorry about that.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to make a comment regarding the call. Is there any way that we can unbury public notifications? That is, it's not easy to find. If we've got public notices for hearings, it would be nice if it was a little more accessible.
We definitely can look. When we did the analysis with our website, it was the locations were listed based on how frequently they were clicked on. And so we went through an analytical kind of process, and based on how frequently the newsletters and press releases and notices were reviewed, my guess is most people actually hit sign up for the specific notify me component and then actually go directly to the specific press notice or the post or the official notice, and not to the general page that's where it's at. But we could look to see if there's like a hot link or something that we could move that up.
I guess my suggestion might even be under community, if it just had its own section instead of being the fourth in a subcategory. If you went under the drop down for community, you might see upcoming public hearings, as its own section under community. That might be helpful.
Yeah, we could take it out of the newsletters, press releases, and notices and just call it public notices.
Yeah.
To be honest, it'd be nice if it showed up as soon as somebody logged onto the screen. You could have the meetings of the week and the public hearings of the week. It isn't that much.
If somebody goes right to the calendar function, they can actually pull up the agenda and look at that. So there's a couple different ways to.
It's in good hands. I'm sure you will find a good solution for it. Sienna and Blaine, thank you for handling that very appropriately, and that worked really well. Any other comments during this time of the public hearing? Okay, it is now 7:18. I'm going to declare the public hearing on this matter having been held. And back to Mr. Attorney.
Yeah, so the next step, as I indicated earlier, is if Planning Commission is satisfied, the requested action is to move the ordinance amendment to City Council for consideration.
Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Bavacqua,
Support.
support by Mr. Stone. Moved and supported. Any other questions or comments? The roll call, please.
Bavacqua,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Clark Martin,
Yes.
Gossen,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Lord,
Yes.
Hauser,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
McGee.
Yes. Thank you very much. Item number 6 is miscellaneous. Sienna, Nick, Blaine, any of you have any miscellaneous items for it?
I do. I just want to state that March normally begins our second meetings of the month. Due to the lack of projects, I've gone ahead and just canceled the March 18th meeting. And that's why I listed the April 5th date. So we do not have a second meeting for this month.
We're very grateful for that. Thank you. Don't
Mr. Chairman,
wanna
I
have
was saying that I
unnecessary
think
meetings.
we'll probably have 3 items, 2 for sure in April, beginning of April. One's the Jeff Garlick Insurance Company on University. He's gonna redo the facade of that building. And then I believe, Sienna, that Gateway will be back
Gateway,
also.
yep.
We should have those 2, and there might be a preliminary plan for the cement plant. Not guaranteeing that, but that's possible.
For which?
The cement plant, the former
Oh,
cement
yes,
plant.
okay.
Yep.
Yes,
That's it.
okay. Any other news or rumors out there, Nick, that you want to tell us about?
It's only about Mr. Bavacqua, and I told him I wouldn't do that to him. I'm good. And
All
Mr.
right,
Stone
okay for that.
wins the best, Mr. Hauser wins the best beard of the
Thanks.
day. So,
31 more days and then it's gone.
there
I
you go.
can't get rid of it fast enough. So it's fine.
Why do you have it? Is that a fundraiser or something?
It's a long story. I'd rather not get into it in public, but yeah,
That sounds good.
it's the days are numbered for this thing.
Okay,
Can I
item
get
number
minutes?
item number 7. Public comment. Sienna, anything else new? Any other communication?
I do not have anything.
Okay. Upcoming agenda items, number 8.
Yes. So I'm sorry, Stuart, did you have something to say for miscellaneous? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it can wait. It can wait until.
Go ahead, sir.
Well, I was just going to say that in conversations with the city attorney and the city manager, the exception to the Open Meetings Act is scheduled to run out. And so in theory, and we hope, we still are working at it, in theory, we may have to be back at City Hall in April.
Okay.
So we are working on that. I mean, some of us don't think I think it's too early. I personally don't think it's appropriate, but that's something we're working through. We'll keep you guys informed. If we do, we will take every safety precaution that we can, but the city council, the DDA, and the planning commission, because we do make decisions, we are a decision-making body. The Open Meetings Act says that we can't do virtual meetings and things like that. So
Is hybrid an option?
hybrid, according to the city attorney, and the city attorney can weigh in, I've been told is not an option.
That's correct. When they did change the state law to allow virtual meetings to continue through the end of the month, they did make some changes. Well, they never really spoke to virtual meetings in the past, but now it does, which is after March 31, everyone has to be in person except for people active in the military and those with a stated medical condition that would prevent them from coming. And there's some requirements for that. And that ability goes to the end of the year. And then after the end of this calendar year, then the only people who can attend virtually and count are people active in the military. So I know that there's discussion with the legislatures about extending that ability to go virtual. But as far as a hybrid, the state law does say that you do need to be present, except for those exceptions to have it your vote be
So virtual votes
your
would
presence
not
be
count
counted
after
towards. I'm
Right.
sorry.
No virtual votes after that date then.
That's correct.
If the
Mr.
law
Manager, I
does,
just like to point out if this body is going to be compelled to be in person, perhaps we can check with the state or the health department to make sure that the folks here who have not been vaccinated have the opportunity to do so before that time.
If I could add to that, because the body will need to be there, there is a concern that I know Blaine has worked through ad nauseum over the last year about spacing and so forth. And, I know, that doesn't mean that staff has to be in person, when we're going through talking about who has to be in the room, it really is only the board. And so there can be virtual people on. You can still have virtual people, such as myself or Blaine or Maureen. That's, I can give up my 6 feet of space if that makes sense. So the members of the public can come in. Same thing with the planner. So those are the things that I know administration is kicking around how to make that work and how to optimize that.
I think to Dean's point, what we would try to do is keep to the same rules of like the restaurants. If it's 25%, so that the public would be limited, we would encourage the public to still participate virtually. We have several air purifiers. We also have a machine that's an oxidizer that actually oxidizes and kills off all viruses that we would do prior to the meeting and then after the meeting. So there's different procedures. We also have plexiglass that we'd place in between any of the commissioners and space it out so that we would do what we can. And my recommendation is a requirement of the masks to be mandatory. So we would go through and put all those things in place. And as Attorney Crott was saying, we could have staff in the building or showing up virtually. So like video could be, and then we would have up on the big screen the staff and other callers. So if we are required per the state law to be in person, it doesn't mean that the staff and the audience has to be. It's my understanding, and I believe Attorney Crott has confirmed this, that it needs to be the body that's actually voting that needs to be in person. Although there's potential that the legislators may extend or modify or change, but any of those would have to take place by the end of this month, March 31st.
Okay, thank you.
And we will keep you guys informed. And as I say, safety is our number one concern. And I think you can, Councilmember Bavacqua and I are both very strong, safety first kind of people in the city. The administration knows that, so we will do the best we can.
Thank you. We're very sure that you will, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, number 8, upcoming agenda items. Sienna.
Yes. So McKenna, I believe, brought to you guys the sustainability worksheet that they were working on. I want to say sometime in September last year. It was the direction that Vidya and John go through the sustainability and actually update some items on there. So that will be coming back to you guys in April.
Okay.
And as Nick said, the other 2 projects or potential projects that we'll have.
All right. Any other, go ahead.
Oh, I said that's all I have.
Very good. Thanks, yeah. Any other business for the commission? This is shocking. I think I see 7:28. And unless anybody objects, I think we're ready to adjourn. We'll see you in a month. Stay safe and stay healthy.
You guys. Thank
See you
you.
guys. All right.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.